Welcome back, guys, to another episode of What the Franchise, and today's topic is going to revolve around the lack of customization within CFM when it comes to relocating teams. I'm not sure how many people actually use this feature, and I'm guessing it's something that's more popular with the casual side, but I could totally be wrong there. Regardless, though, there's a couple of issues here that we're going to discuss, but overall the biggest is one that I've brought up multiple times, and that's the failure to continue to grow and improve upon features after they've been implemented. Now, relocation was a big ad when owner mode was first implemented and was one of those long lost features from the Xbox PS2 era. Unfortunately, upon its return, it was something that is way more restrictive than its previous iteration. Rather than being able to relocate to any number of cities, there was only a select number to choose from, and then these cities were also limited to only 3 different team names and mascots per location. Now, when it comes down to that, obviously more customization would be better, but I actually don't mind the approach that they took here because it allowed them to apply commentary to all of these teams as well, which was a huge sore point in the older versions. Nothing killed a relocated team more than hearing the commentators always referring to your team as simply the home team or the away team. So that was definitely a huge plus. Unfortunately, once you get beyond that, things continue along that limited path in that once you've chosen your city and your team name, you're limited to only, I think, 3 different uniform selections, whereas in the older Maddens, you were able to create your own uniform entirely, including alternates, essentially from top to bottom. There was a ton of different options as far as color schemes, number styles, stripe styles on shoulders and pants, etc. To go along with this, in my opinion, the vast majority of the stock uniforms currently in CFM for relocation look pretty bad. There are a few that look pretty good. I like the Black Knights, I like the Monarchs, but a lot of them are just basically rip-offs and rip off elements of actual NFL or college uniforms, whether it be the Falcons number font, the actual Seahawks uniform template itself. So it really lacks that sense of uniqueness and personalization that it should have, which is something that I'll get into in a minute. Lastly, though, is after you choose a uniform, you get to pick a new stadium. Again, in the older Maddens, when you relocated or decided to build a new stadium, you got to entirely create your own stadium. And I'm not going to beat around the bush and say that the Create a Stadium was this overly great feature with a multitude of options, because it really wasn't. For the most part, any stadium that you built was going to look similar to one another, but it also had things like being able to adjust how your end zones and your field looked as well. And also, when we talk about this, we're talking about a feature that was 2 console generations and 14 years ago. So when you look at the current situation where you only get the 5 stadium options, and then the fact that they have these quote deluxe models that are exactly the same as the regular models, it just feels like there should be a lot more there. For the first year of the implementation, it was good, but like I said before, you have to continue to build on this kind of thing over time so that it doesn't get stale and it doesn't fall as far behind as it currently is. And the reason why these 2 things are important is because having that customization and personalization gives you a certain connection to your team. You created it, you designed it, it's yours. That's a connection you're just not going to get, or it's going to be a lot harder to achieve with the current system. And then when you look at other sports games and the things that they're doing with the exact same kind of feature, it really blows Madden away. You see what's capable with 2K's relocation, and then you look even in-house with NHL, where they're using a lot of the same logos that you see in Madden, but you see more options available there, whether it be color schemes. They have vintage logos. It's just ridiculous how much deeper that feature goes in these other games. More outside of the box, you look at what's capable in a game like Super Mega Baseball 2 that just came out, and that's the kind of thing that Madden needs to strive for when it comes to customization when you're relocating or creating your own team. At this point, though, I think I've pretty much outlined what needs to be better, but just to recap, customization needs to be king, and there needs to be a ton more options available for the user when it comes to designing and creating their new team. Just to look at Madden overall, though, this is something that can work for both CFM and MUT as well. With the way MUT is set up with the fantasy rosters, I'm sure people would love to create their own uniforms and stadiums to show off during their MUT games. You could do something to where you have those customization options available within CFM, and then you can put those same uniform styles, stadium styles, and elements into MUT packs as well. And this could also lead to classic stadiums being involved, and the options are really endless there. That's going to do it though. Let me know what kind of things you guys would like to see as far as created teams, customization, relocation, and that kind of thing. I'm not really sure what the next Beyond the Blueprint will cover, but I think right now it's between multi-team depth charts and the player card. As for the next What the Franchise, I think I'm going to touch on some issues with the sim stats within CFM. Those should both be up next week, hopefully. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and until next time, thanks for watching.